Welcome to Midlife Mood Vlog number 4. This is a question I get frequently. How can I stay consistent? So maybe you've tried specific exercises or diet or even meditation, and you just can't be consistent with it. So today I'm going to share 3 simple tips on how to improve your consistency. Step number 1 is to pick a small habit to change. This can be adding something in or removing something. And it's just one thing. So I don't want you to write down 15 things you want to change about yourself. So I don't want you to write that you want to start exercising, eating vegetables, getting 6,000 steps a day, sleeping 8 hours a day. No, pick one. Pick one thing. That's it. Because remember, this is for the long-term improvements. This is not quick, what am I going to change overnight and not stick with? Where you do everything at once and nothing actually changes into a habit and you're not consistent. So pick one thing. Go ahead, write it down right now. What's the one thing you're going to focus on? So for example, if you need ideas, maybe you're looking to, maybe it's easier to think about adding something in. So maybe your thing is to add a green vegetable at lunch and dinner. Great. Write that down. And what you're going to do is do that thing every day, lunch and dinner, for the next couple weeks. Add that small little habit in. Once you've done it for a few weeks, it's going to become a habit and you will be consistently doing it. Even when you go out to dinner or out to lunch, you're going to think, oh yeah, this is my thing. I'm adding a green vegetable. Great. Small little things to help you improve with your consistency. If you're not into adding things, maybe you're into removing things. Sometimes that can be associated with negative, but let's just give an example here. Maybe you're on social media for 30 minutes to an hour every night. So you're going to say, I'm going to remove that 30 minutes to an hour and I'm going to replace it with walking around the block. And that way you're taking something out, but you're replacing it with a change that you want to happen. Again, one thing, you're just picking one thing for this step number 1. So either remove something or add something, write that down, and just don't worry about all the other stuff. All the other stuff you need to change, lowering your cholesterol, getting your steps, exercising, blah, 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 all the things. Shh, focus, just one. Just one. That's how you can be consistent, is by changing habits slowly, little by little. Those small changes add up every day. Okay, that is option 1 to help you be more consistent, picking that one thing. Option number 2, find an accountability buddy. Who is going to hold your feet to the fire? That can be a coach. That's what I'm here for our weekly check-ins. That's what I do with my clients. I'm also in their MyFitnessPal daily, checking to see what they're eating. I'm texting them, finding out if they got their steps in for the day. It doesn't have to be me. It could be your spouse. It could be your child. It could be your sister, brother, aunt, cousin, friend, whomever. But you might want to make sure that you have similar goals because you want to make sure it's not somebody who's going to derail you and be like, you didn't get your steps in. Oh, well, let's just go to the bar and drink Margarita Tuesday. You want somebody who knows what your goals are and who's going to support you in getting there. I was talking to a girlfriend last week and she had somebody who was holding her accountable almost to the point where she found it annoying. She's like, I mean, I like it because it makes me accountable, but it was like she wouldn't show up at the gym and she knew she was going to get a text message on, where are you? Why are you not here? And it's more of a concern, not necessarily a judgment, but that's what you're looking for, is somebody who's truly going to hold you accountable. That is step number 2 on how to be consistent, is finding that accountability buddy. Step number 3, this is probably the most complicated, but if you're a visual learner, this is going to really be perfect. If you have a calendar from the computer or on your phone, you can print it out or keep it digitally, whatever works for you. I personally like to print out a monthly calendar every month because I like the visual of seeing it and also writing it. because it helps me remember. And it also, I feel like it gets in your bones that way. It's like in there. But if you're a digital person, digital is totally fine. Okay, so from that calendar, you are going to want to make your consistency calendar. Each day, you're going to write the things that you want to change, those habits you're working on. So maybe each day is getting 7,000 to 10,000 steps. On that visual calendar, you put a check mark when you hit 7,000 to 10,000 steps. That means you got it. Boom, check, check, check. It's a visual reminder. So then at the end of the week, you can look at the calendar and say, was I consistent? Did I reach my goal? Now, you don't have to be consistent 100% of the time, but it's nice to look back at the month and say, okay, out of 30 days, how many check marks did I have? Did I have 29? Did I have 5? If you see 5, you know you've got to keep working on that one thing, that one habit you're working on. This is a really big one to me, is this consistency, because I'm often having conversations with clients on their frustration of, I'm not losing weight. I'm not losing weight. I'm eating healthy. Okay, great. You think you're eating healthy. You think you're doing it, but how's your consistency? Let's look at your MyFitnessPal. And oftentimes I'll go into their MyFitnessPal and I'll see, yeah, they were consistent 4 days out of 7 or 3 days out of 7, but those other days they weren't consistent, they were going way over their calories. So although they think like they're being consistent because they're hitting their calorie goals a few days a week, they're not meeting it consistently enough to see a change. That's why consistency is so important, because once you are doing these habits every day, that's when you start to see changes, whether it's body changes or mental health changes. If you're maybe doing meditation, whatever it is, maybe it's getting stronger with strength training. That's how you can tell you're being consistent and you'll see changes versus, why am I not seeing changes? I'm doing it. How are you tracking your consistency? You've got to have a way to measure that. So I hope those three things help. Number 1 is picking a small habit and either adding or subtracting it into your day. That way you do that for a few weeks before you add in the next thing. You become consistent and reliable with that one thing. Number 2 is an accountability buddy. And number 3 is the calendar. So tell me which way you prefer. How are you going to commit to being consistent? Let me know below.